Oh my gosh, Debbie, thank you. Okay, fast forward. Hello, welcome. Thank you, Debbie, for being here. Oh, hi, Dave. How are you? Hey, Ashley. I thought it was just me. Oh my gosh, and I'm Cricket. Oh my gosh. So, okay, well, what I wanted to say was thank you so much for joining me in the Macro Chat Live show. And AD is sick. He is sick, and I feel really bad. He cannot make the show tonight. So I am bummed, but I totally understand. I've been sick. The kids have been sick. Ashley's sick right now, actually, to tell you the truth. So anyway, wow. Ashley's saying wow because my mic was on mute. She knows her mother. But yeah, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. AD, if you're watching this, I hope you feel better soon. We were thinking about canceling the show, but since I did not have the show, I only had one show in November, and we'll have one show in December. So it's very slow during the holiday months, and then we will rock it on when it comes to January. We already got our first guest coming. So let me say this again for people that are brand new that have not been to the show, and this hat's going to bug me, I could already tell, that this show is for close-up, macro, and micro photography. And that's where we all love to get up close and personal with our photography or learn something new or be inspired. Or if you're just starting out, you can ask questions. It is a chat show. So I'm looking over here and got sound now, Dave. Thanks. Yeah, so I will look over at the chat. And when I don't have a guest, I have a guest once a month. And this show is every other week. So normally when we start in January, it's every other Thursday. So next Thursday, there'll be a video. So every Thursday I produce something on YouTube. But you guys are going to get to see something behind the scenes. If you're part of my mail list, you might have already seen it, but we'll talk about that after in a little bit. So yes, if you're new, so welcome so much, Deborah, Dave. I was saying thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Ashley, thank you for being here. Your hat looks fine, Mother. But it's kind of like Cricket. Anyways, look, I have the holiday spirit here. And that mess over there, you're going to see what that mess was all about when you watch a video that I have for you guys today. And yeah, so I've got it all festive. Also, cheers. Happy holidays to you all. And it's not alcoholic beverage, but this is a beautiful glass that I got from my sister. So cheers, everyone. It tastes good. It's actual apple juice, like apple with some cinnamon. You know, got to do it festive. So yeah, so if any of you guys are new that are showing up, that are coming to watch, feel free to go in the chat. That's what it's all about. It's all about us chatting and learning something new, and if you have questions. So we do have an amazing photograph to go over today, which I think you guys will really love. And then we also have two videos for you today. So about learning or whatever, just to get you guys in the spirit. So I do want to remember what I was saying before, and I don't know if you guys heard me or not, but basically in 2 weeks is the next show, but the next show is the day after Christmas. And as Ashley knows, we have a huge Christmas party that goes from morning all the way until night. We actually even have a fire in our backyard because we have a pit, and it's just a blast. But I am exhausted, so there's no way that Janice is going to be able to do a Macro Chat live show. So we have to cancel that. But look for a video. There will be a video on Thursday. So definitely check that out. Again, now 2 weeks after that, January 9th, 2020. Can you believe it's going to be 2020? I just can't believe it. Hi, Barry. Oh my gosh, you're here. Hey, he stayed up. He's from the UK, and Barry is the one that has the image that we're going to talk about today. So welcome, Barry. It's so nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Yes. Hey, Baz. I can't wait to share your image with everyone. So, excuse me. Anyways, It's probably that cinnamon. I gotta have another sip. It's so good. Very, very good. Anyway, so January 9th is my first guest of 2020, and I'm super honored to have Charles Needle. Unbelievable photographer. But what's really cool about Charles is that I really love Monet. That's one of my favorite artists. Always has been. The colors, just the way he paints. And he really does a great job with his imagery, and he really does have some unique photography, and he really, I think he's inspired by Monet also, because he had something in there under abstracts and Monet, and so I emailed him and he said yes. So yay! Charles is going to be our first 2020 guest. I can't wait. He's going to be here. It'll be January 9th. So mark your calendars. For some reason, I don't know what the heck's going on with YouTube. Every time I put up the new macro chat live, so after this show we schedule it again, and I don't know what's going on, but it keeps showing unlisted. So that's why it's very, there's not very many people. So I'm so happy that you guys are all here. I totally appreciate it, and I'm excited that you're here, and we're gonna have a great time. Yeah, so I'm gonna put it back up, and if any of you guys like, Barry, Baz, you go by Baz. If you do not see it, or any of you guys do not see it in the Facebook group, then definitely let me know, and I'll go back to YouTube and find out what the heck is going on. So we have a Facebook group just for this show, and here it is. So it's Facebook/Macro Live Chat. And so this is where I go first. I go there to answer questions, to grab images that, for the critique or whatever. Excuse me. I did put in Facebook about asking if anybody just had some inspirational images. So I will check on Facebook while you guys are watching the videos that are going to be coming up. So I do want to share the spirit of the holidays. Now, this video that I'm going to share with you guys right now, let me get it over here to the front screen. I want to just make sure. There we go. So here I am again. The video I'm going to share with you did go to my email list. People, it is unlisted at the moment. So you in the macro show can see this video, and the people that are on my email list. I'm debating right now if I'm going to put it into the public for next week. There's a couple videos I've been wanting to share. So what I'm going to do is get you in the holiday spirit of sharing 3 different ways to photograph light before we dive into the critique. So I know it's really late, Baz, but after this, we will get into the critique, so we can chat together, which is a lot of fun. So let me get going on that video, and then if you guys have questions, ask me in the chat, and I'll either type it, or when I come back on, then I'll answer your questions. So let's go for it right now. Hi, happy holidays. It's that time of year where we want to play with those beautiful lights for the holidays. So what I'm going to do is share with you how to make some beautiful bokeh images. Basically, it's those circles that are behind everything. It's a lot of fun and very easy to do. And I'm going to share with you a couple tips towards the end on some other fun holiday spirit photography. Hi, if you don't know me, my name's Janice Sullivan, and I'm part owner of Sullivan J Photography, where we help macro and landscape photographers with their goals and to move them forward in their photography journey. This channel is the home of the Macro Photography Live Chat Show, and I also use it to answer your questions. Today's question is from Julie. Thank you, Julie. She had asked about how I made these beautiful circles around my main subject. Sometimes they're in front of it, sometimes they're behind it, but it's all about the main subject and making these gorgeous lighting circles with all the fun Christmas lights and holiday and New Year's and Hanukkah and all that fun stuff. You could just have such a blast this time of year. So what you need to do is think of it this way. As you have lights around, turn your lens back and forth. Just turn them back and forth, and you're going to see the lights come out of focus. And when they come out of focus, it's called circles of confusion. It bounce in there and all this fun stuff. But it will make some beautiful out of focus lights. That circles. You are making those lights out of focus, so you cannot have the lights next to a subject that you want in focus. So the lights need to be way up in front or way behind the main subject. And you won't know that it's that far in the picture because it's a two planes. Of course, we're going to be like, whoa, that's way out to the back, but it's going to look beautiful because it's going to seem like it's right next to your focal point, the object that is in focus. The reason why people get confused is that each lens will be different. So if you have a smaller lens, you will have more in focus. So in order to make this out of focus, then you got to have farther lights. Now you can change your aperture number. Your aperture number, if it's at a number that's say 2.8 to say 4 or 5, the number, just worry about the number. If the number is low, then you will have more circles out of focus when you're playing with it. Another way to photograph that I feel is just so beautiful is stars. So you could easily do a star shot when you put your f-stop number, the number again, at say f22 or I'd say maybe f16, f22. If you have a very good lens, then you will have better star bursts. Just know that when you do that, you're going to have less light. So you may need a tripod or put your ISO a little bit more. You may need to play with this. I like to play with manual mode, but that's up to you. Say if you don't have that beautiful lens that you want, or you don't want to deal with low light, then you can buy this filter. It's awesome. Play with it. So when you go to purchase a star filter, the way you can find out what size you need is on your lenses. So this lens has a teeny little number on here that says 58 millimeter. Can you see that? Let's see. See where it says 58 right there? 58 millimeters. So that's what filter lens I'm going to purchase. So each of your lenses has a different number. Just check that out before you buy. Another great way to photograph is really to just work on some fun motion blurs. That means keeping your f-stop at a slow shutter speed, say 1 second and to say 20 seconds depending on your lighting conditions. But it's just basically taking the lights and just moving your camera at a slow shutter speed to really get some motion in the lights, and then making those circles of confusion without a subject within them, because what you want to do with these photographs later on is actually use them in your images in post-production. It's a lot of fun. It's great to stock up at this moment. Yay! Merry Christmas!
I make cookies.
You're gonna make cookies.
Make Christmas cookies.
Christmas cookies. Make Christmas cookies.
Make Christmas cookies.
Okay. So if you like the tips, how about a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel? We put out new content every Thursday. Have a happy holidays and enjoy your lighting. Cheers, everyone. Okay, so the ending, obviously, wasn't that cute? That was my grandson. He was sick and I was watching him when I was making that video. He's such a good boy too. So, but at the end, if you're, in YouTube, that actually will show another video and then a picture of me so you could subscribe to the channel. So that is what actually is on YouTube unlisted. And I thought to bring some fun and see this right here. That's the setup. That's it. I just had some fun playing with lights and just threw it up, and the kids, I left it up because the kids have been having so much fun turning it off and on. So my grandkids are so fun. So if you had any, do you guys have any questions? Also, I wanted to say that I was excited to see Barry. So Baz and Dave were chatting it up in Facebook. I love it. That's exactly what I love. And this is why I do the Macro Chat live show, to get us together, all of us that really love to photograph, that we're passionate about getting up close, no matter what subject or what style you like to do. It's a great place for us to have our own place. You always see, the landscapers, which I do landscape, and we always see, how to do Photoshop or how to shoot a person. But it's like I didn't see anything when it came to macro or close up, and I was like, no, we're gonna have a live show just for the people like us. And it has been such an amazing. It's been on for 2 years now. And the first year was horrible. Nobody ever showed up, but I still did it. And then I noticed that, I said after a year, after I got the feel of how to do this, I had Mike Moats and Don Komarachka on the show, and I couldn't really talk to them like I wanted to have a conversation. Like right now, it's just you and I see Debbie says, I'm going to play with lights and flowers tomorrow. Woo! Yeah, I'm excited. I would love to see that. That would be so cool to play with both. Your favorite thing is flowers. She makes beautiful flowers. So if you haven't seen, I don't know, Debbie, have you gotten that website up yet? Just a little push. She makes really gorgeous flower work. Anyways, so I decided, you know what? AD knows a lot about production, so let's see if he'll be my producer. And he said, sure. And you know what? It's just been a blast ever since. And I feel really bad. I'm sorry, AD, that you're sick. And I hope you do feel better. And I am excited for 2020. We have some really fun plans, and I know that you guys will have a blast. And I just have to say, oh, he lost connection for about 5 minutes. Barry did. Oh, no. Let's see. Almost there. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, that sounds perfect. I'm excited. We got to get that rolling. Then I could share it with everybody. And if you guys, I don't think you can share links while we're chatting. Oh, I see. Look. Oh, there's Matthew. Happy holidays, Matthew. I see you in the chat too. Hey. Nice to see you. Happy holidays. Very, very cool. I've been seeing a lot of your photographs, Matthew. I'm so excited to see you working. So it's a great place for us to hang out for sure. I wanted to, let's see. Oh, I'm glad you're back, Barry. That's really cool. We're going to go into critique. So what I want to say, though, is that when we do the critique, it's just for feedback, because what I say is like, whatever what your goal set is, I need to know before you ask me questions, because everybody's different. And if you have an image that you've worked so hard on, but just because somebody says something about it doesn't really work. Let me explain something. It's always good to get feedback and to give feedback. To give is even better than to receive, because it helps you understand certain things about a photograph that you may want to change in your own. But with that said, one of the things that I did learn is, just because we are so hard on ourselves as being a photographer, I was taught in college that it doesn't even matter if the subject is in focus, as long as it has an impact, like a story and something different than what others do. Now, I know that there's amazing photographers out there, and when you're learning, emulate them and just keep photographing, because you will end up having your own style, whether you think so or not. I just want to say that it's always, some people do not believe in giving feedback, and I totally believe you should ask, and you should just take it with a grain of salt. Take it and think about it, and if you don't like it, no big deal. So that's what we do here on the Macro Show. It's not like college where they and spit you out. It's nothing like that at all. But I feel like a lot of people have the same type of questions, and that's why I wanted this kind of feedback critique area so others can learn at the same time. So we will, if you want to submit your images, definitely go to the Facebook and ask questions. I always go to the Facebook first. There is another group that I have that is a little bit bigger, but I actually do dive into the Facebook that we are in for the Macro Show first. You guys are first dibs. And that's where we hooked up over there. Baz has a question. So I am going to we'll go into critique time. And because AD's not here, I didn't share my screen fast enough. He's always on it for me. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Let me see if I can get over there. Okay, here we are. All right, so it looks like it's cutting off some of his image. He has a little bit more down below. Let me see if I could let's see if we can get this bigger. Okay, it's a little bit better. Okay, it's a little bit better. So let me we're not looking at me anymore. We're looking at his work. And I love this kind of work. Refractions are just so beautiful and a different way of viewing. And it's like a macro going even more macro, because we want to see things up close and then we want to go even closer. So this was so nice. So let's go ahead and tell you about Baz, because this is the first time that he's put an image on the show. So thank you so much, because I know a lot of people get very nervous about this stuff, but Baz has actually been photographing for a long time. So he says, here is his photograph for critique, and it's the flower water drop. He used a Nikon D5300. His lens was a Sigma 105 macro lens. His ISO was 100. His aperture was at f/25. His exposure was at 1/6, and he was using manual mode. And yes, he was using a tripod. I would say so, because that is a slow shutter speed, and there's no way, even when I was younger, I wouldn't be able to do that. He says he used a manual shutter release. He lives in Swindon, UK. I hope you don't mind, because I'm right there with you. He's a 60-year-old photographer, over 50 years doing photography. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. That is awesome. When he was using the 35 millimeter film camera, and then he went to DSLR for the last 4 years. And he really wants to get into the macro, sea, landscape, and abstract, where you are totally like me, Baz. That is exactly what I'm into, is macro. And you have sea, I have desert. So instead of sea, mine's desert slash landscape. But we're still landscape. And I love abstracts for sure. So his goal was to achieve his goal is to really get some recognition in his macro of flowers and water drop photography. So he's really focusing on this type of photographing, which is such a blast. Yeah, see, look, I know. Cheers, 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 cheers. So if you guys are here watching the chat, you'll know why I'm saying cheers. I love that you guys are chatting up over there. You're making my evening for sure. So this is something that I totally love to do, and it is difficult it is harder to do this obviously when you're outdoors, because the refraction that you're getting it's such a wide angle. So it's like having the water drop is taking, he's got the flower, and look at how small it is over here. So I love the way that you have the drops. I feel like the only suggestion that I could give to you, because there's a couple ways that I actually do this type of stuff. So what's happening here, there's two things that's happening. You've totally got the refraction perfect. I love the background. I love the green, the contrasting colors and stuff. But I think that there must have been a glare somewhere, and that happens all the time when you're outdoors, for sure. I mean, I even get it when I'm indoors trying to do this. I think that's one of the hardest parts of doing this style, is the actual, right here where you could see where the white is, that is all the light hitting the water and bouncing all over the place. And it's really difficult to clean that up when, to me, it's just like, oh my gosh. So the spot may have been difficult. And the only thing because when it refracts, it's such a large area. It's not like we're doing macro. You could try to take a black, this is what my suggestion, you could try to take a black velvet and like maybe, drape it over you and the flower, but you're not going to get, it's probably going to show in there. So the only thing I can say is like maybe take some boards or something, because as you're moving that around, you'll be able to see that it will reduce this. So sometimes what I'll do is, not even if you could use black velvet if you want, or you could even try to tone this down with, diffusion paper, cloth, but that could be difficult. So this might have been a section that, maybe needed a tent, but, would you have gotten the grass? I don't know where your location is, because sometimes you could just actually place like something over it and then bring in, I've seen people do this where they've done their own makeshift and they've actually, put like a big tent around it, and then they put the camera in. So you may be able to do this, but that's really what's happening here, is that there's the sun or something is hitting right in here. And so it's the location where it's going. So you might want to try to do something like that. Because you're really diving into this, I'm going to give you another suggestion. And normally I wouldn't say this. So you used an aperture of f/25, and I totally get why, because you want to get more in focus. So, okay, Barry say use a light box next time. What was this, inside or outside? I think it was outside. Oh, Japan. Yes. Baz, great shot. The UK has, see, look, guys they're talking. I just love it. Best photography magazines. Oh yeah. So he's in Japan right now. Yes. So I want to suggest something, Baz. Now, this could be something that you may be interested in and you may not be interested, but I do want to suggest something if you're really getting into this. So when I get this close, now I don't know if you crop this because I don't know the size of it. So you have the 100 millimeters. So I'll explain what I do. So I have my 100 millimeter, and then what I'll do is because I want to get this close, I add an extension tube. Well, as you're getting closer, us macro will be like, oh my gosh, we have less in focus. So what I have taught myself is to stack my photographs. And basically that's for those of you that don't know what stacking means, is that you take, say if you want these water drops to be in focus. So let's just say Baz has a place where, this refraction's not hitting on the flowers, right? And, he's in an area that maybe there's something over the flowers, so it's not the light's not bouncing in. Even if you were to use a flash to try to bounce that light off, you're going to see the flash. So I would just try to find a different location. I know it's tough, or drape something over it. But anyways, I would start practicing on stacking. And that's something that Debbie has tried, and she's doing it. She did not know how to do it, and I taught her. Kudos to you, Debbie, because you know how to stack now. And I think you will be, stacking is in your next goal. Yay! I'm so excited. You know why I'm excited? Because that's when you're going to start getting nice and crisp, and you'll take the outside. What I do is I will stack from the outer drop because it's coming towards you, right? Or you can stack from the side. See where my mouse is right here? You can start from there and then move up. It doesn't matter. You can go from the front to the back, from the back to the front of the water drop only. Who cares about the background? We really want to see that water drop. Don't worry about any of this when you're first starting. What I would do is take one water drop and just do the one water drop, focus on one water drop to stack that one water drop. Once you understand the stacking process, then, you could try it in Photoshop, but I just want to let you know that Zareen Stacker and Helicon both have a 30-day, you could try it for free for 30 days. So if you have time and you're just like, okay, I am going to stack indoors first, so you understand how to do it. I have video tutorials down there in my, if you just, maybe what I'll do is after the show, I'll put the video tutorials down on some basic focus stacking and just do the steps slowly, and you'll get it. And it's so exciting when you get the whole drop totally in focus and it's just like boom. And that's where you really see a lot of crisp water drops that you'll be really, really excited about. So I hope that's helped. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's get to my front camera. Let's see, front camera.
Hi.
Hey,
Happy holidays.
Oops.
It's that.
I put on the video. Let's see. Debbie says it can still be a challenge, but I try it sometimes. It is a challenge. There's no two ways about it. I think the more you do it, just like with anything, the more you do something, the better you feel confident, and then you understand the programs too, because you'll be able to see, okay, this area is a little too soft and the program's going to have a hard time, or this is too much movement, because the program it can give you problems. If you're moving all over the place, then that is going to give you problems, and you would have to manually stack, and that's time consuming. But if you get it consistent from the beginning of your drop to, say, the end of the drop, you should be kudos and things should work good. Who cares about the background? Yeah, me, I want to show both the 4 and the infinity. The background is just me, I suppose. Let me see. As I want to show both the foreground and the infinity, and identify the background. Yeah, in the drop, but in the background, it's just your background that you have here is nice and soft, so that looks amazing. So I mean the background of the flower. I could be misunderstanding. Okay. Barry said that was great. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm coughing. And look, the way the light's on. I have really bright lights on me. Okay. Whew. You would think that has alcohol in it, but it's the cinnamon. All righty, that's cool. Okay, so what I wanted, okay, so now, Barry, I was actually thinking about you through this whole, when you guys give me an image, or any of you guys, I think about you through the whole process of the show. So not only are we talking about feedback, but I think about what would I personally like if I was doing what you are sharing with me. So I thought about you, and I made another video. So the other dog is barking, and you guys always use it, right? You guys always hear the dogs. So I'm saying use it because I'm looking at Cam Ranger. Now, I don't know if you guys, I want to explain something to you, because a lot of times people will have a hard time with Cam Ranger. So let me share with you something. So this is Cam Ranger. It's the older one. So, let me just go. Wait, hold on one second. I love to do my equipment thing, and then we'll come back because it's like a break for us. Hold on one second. It's a short one, but it's a little breaker. So, because after the show, we do timelines. So you don't have to watch the whole show if you don't want to. So then once we see this breaker, then we put on the time frame, and you could go straight over to equipment. So it takes us about a week to get these shows. After the show's done, then we go through the show and write all the stuff and the information. It goes on my blog site. It goes on my website, on my blog. So in a week, this will be all set up. And in YouTube still. But this is an older Cam Ranger. Okay. And I'm going to share with you behind the scenes of the Cam Ranger and why I love it so much. So I also wanted to share with you, see this? This is a double, this goes on the camera. And here is my Cam Ranger. And here is my flash. See? So one of the images that I had shot, the Christmas box, which was this. See, this is my Christmas box. So this is what I shot in the video with the bokeh in the background, and the hubby doesn't like it. He said, not everybody likes our work. It's okay. I like it. That's all that matters, right? So anyways, it was funny. So I always ask the opinions of Ashley and Kevin. And yeah, it's interesting. So that's what I wanted to share with you too. This is a great little tool. It's really cheap. So the Cam Ranger, you could have a bag, but let me share with you behind the scenes of what a Cam Ranger could do. And then I'll explain why it's so good, and if you have questions, we will get to that too. But I do want to share this with you. So let's look at that really quick. So we're in Cam Ranger, and you could see that here is my camera, and it tells you your batteries over here to the left. And over here is actually live. I'm on my live view. If I turn this off, then it is not live. Right now, this is what my camera's showing. So let me just go up here to the top. So if I want to focus on something, then there we go. I just clicked right there. If you're on a phone or an iPad, then you just use your finger and click on what you want focused. Now, a lot of times with this macro, we would, just like if we were to use our lens, we have to manually focus. So unfortunately, when you have to manual focus, you would have to turn this off down here. This is the actual where we could see the view. So a lot of times, to tell you the truth, what I do is I will have a general setup, and then I will actually move manually my focus. But it's still so much better to see your composition here. I wouldn't recommend an iPhone. I would recommend an iPad if you're outdoors, or right now I'm on my actual computer. And it's so much easier to see your composition, to be able to see if you have things in focus. It's just so nice. I have photo stacked using the Cam Ranger, and it does have a depth of view preview, but I believe it's only for Canon. I'm not sure on that one. They have a new Cam Ranger. It's black. I'll share it down in links below after the show. And you can check that out because I know they have improved the Cam Ranger. Mine is a little older. Once you get what you like and you put the steps here and then you go ahead and push start and it will start performing the focus stack. While it's doing that, I have no idea if I'm blowing it out because I just realized that over here to the right, it's on manual mode. So I'm looking over here and yes, I'm overexposed. So definitely we didn't go to that, but definitely you want to make sure your exposure is properly before you do this. So I just wanted to share with you that you can focus stack and it's pretty cool. It's going to do up to 6. And then I would take it into Zareen Stacker or Helicon Focus and then go ahead and stack it. Photoshop I personally don't like, but doesn't mean that you may not like, you may like it, so go for it. There is a timer, so if you want to actually have, which I have used again too, which is really cool, want to take images of various stages, say of the flower or whatever you have, or you want to take this out in camping and do some time lapse, this is really good. So you can tell it over here, the time lapse. So if you want to do something like that, I know it's a macro show, but I still want to share with you what you could do. You can also do HDR shots, which is really cool. And I have done HDR shots with my macro. Matter of fact, I do that all the time. Down here at the bottom, I can change my f-stop, my shutter speed, my ISO. I can change the way it's reading. It's just like if I'm shooting raw. Say if I want to change that, it does everything for you. So it's really, really cool. Let me change my mode out of manual. Let's go. Let me just say something real quick. So I was in manual mode. Fortunately, when I'm on my computer in manual mode, I would not be able to use this. And this is basically what's really cool about this is even if you're an AV and you shoot and say that it's just too bright and you want to play with this, you can click here at the bottom and you could see here, let me see, this is basically where we were, and say it's too bright because it's reading the image the way Coco, stop, it's not reading the image properly. All you have to do is just click over here and decrease the exposure. You could see that it's decreasing it, and then capture it and you'll see that it's going to be darker. See how it's darker? It's really, really cool to be able to see your composition. You can actually play with everything here. So it's exposure, time lapse. I mean, I could just keep going. And they're not paying me to market this, just so you know. Okay, let's get back to the show. Oh, am I back? There I am. It took a while to get back. Yes, I was in the chat and I have a question from Barry, which is awesome. I love questions. So let me just talk about the Cam Ranger. And yeah, it was a ring light. See? Yeah, it was a ring light. I use the ring light truly. I used it on the light box that I had today. This one when I was, not the light box, but I used it on this just to add some light. Most of the time, I'm only using this when I want to stop motion outdoors. And because I actually have studio lights that I use, but I like the Cam Ranger because the Cam Ranger can do so much when I'm inside. And I love that. I love that I can really just see everything, especially when it comes to macro. I have to admit, though, a lot of times when I'm outdoors, I will not use the Cam Ranger. I know several photographers that do use the Cam Ranger outdoors, but I personally usually don't. But I was like so funky on this. This is not This is not happening next time. I got to get a better one. My hat has fallen off. Oh, hi, Alan. Nice to see you. Great show as always. I love the hat. Thank you so much. Well, I got to get a better one because it's too loose. It keeps slipping off. The little ball's heavy and it keeps making it go this way. That's why I keep looking at it. What the heck? So let me answer Baz's question. So he had said, why do I use HDR all the time? So even though I am a crazy woman and I really do love dramatic lighting, and I do use a lot of different lights, flashlights and those kind of lights, and I have a studio lights, and that's just because I've learned it and I just enjoy it. If you see some of my work, there's some dramatic lighting. That's what I usually use my strobes, and they're big strobes because I used to shoot portraits back in the days. But the thing that I love really truly is natural light. And when I really do love to be able to take the various exposures, especially if the subject is deep, where there's shadow. I could bounce some light in there. I have things to reflect in there. But a lot of times I won't even need to do that. And so what I'll do is say a 1 to 1.5 stops of exposures. There was like irises. I have several irises where I shared how I did HDR on an iris because the depth of the iris is so deep and the shadows were inside, and to bounce the light in there, I didn't want to deal with it. I have trained myself through landscape photography to do HDR. Every single landscape photograph that I have is high dynamic range, which can go usually from 7 to 8 images. Usually my camera's pretty, I Canon, and so I could usually get about 8 stops, 8 images and merged together, depending on how drastic. I could sometimes even get 3. Sometimes I only need 2. It just depends on how much of the zones, Ansel had the zones from 0 to, from white to black. How much can my camera handle when it comes to exposures to get everything correct? And I really truly love to bring in the work. And sometimes if you'll ever see, like, the people in the membership program know how I layer everything and I piece it all together. And that's just how I work. And I really do love the natural light also. So that's why I really do get into the HDR. No matter what the subject is, if I don't have enough of the exposures that I want, because I like my stuff dramatic. Some people are very soft. I used to be very soft, and when you have a soft image, you don't really need all that exposure because of the way you have less depth of field. But a lot of my work is very sharp and side lit because I want to see things like, the bumps of a flower or a petal or a branch or my beautiful huge cup, Baz. Is that beautiful or what? My sister gave this to me last year for Christmas. How awesome. And then I broke one. I hope Michelle's not watching. We broke one. She got 2 of them, and I broke the other one. So I feel bad. Hey, so yeah. Oh, you guys are saying hi. HDR is useful, but do not think that the camera is taking the photo, not taking it yourself. Well, the camera for me is just a little tool. And so when I think of photographing, I say, what do I want? And then what can the camera do? And if the camera can't do what I want in my work, then I will definitely change things up. And I do post-processing for sure. So, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna, there's certain people that will not do all that, and kudos to you guys for sure. I mean, because everyone's different, and that's what I love about photography. I love to see all the different styles and the different way people photograph and the different. It's really, really cool to see all that. And I think because I was an art major, that's one of the things I really, really love is the variety that's out there. So yeah, as long as you can get what you want from your camera, your lens, your tripod, what your post processing, as long as you're happy with what you are doing and what you can get out of it, you're on it. If there's something that is getting to a point where you're like, I need a little bit more whatever, like I needed video on my Canon. I had a Canon, and then we had no video. Well, I had to buy a new camera because I didn't have the video compatibility. And another thing too is like if you are a photographer and you wanting more color and more vibrance and more details, then a medium format's going to give it to you. You might pay $20,000 for it. I think some of them are cheaper now, but just to, there's a point where there's a point where all of us get to, depending on what we want to photograph, saying, do we need this tool or do we want this tool? There's a need and a want. Now, of course, I want everything, don't you? But do I need a medium format? No. Do I want a medium format? Yes. If I get the lotto going, I will buy a medium format, and I'll show you the two differences. Hey, Jan! Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. Nice to see you. Happy holidays. You'll see Barry's here, Alan's here. Oh my gosh, Matthew, Catherine. We have Dave was here. I don't know if he's here now because they're all from England. It's like really, really late out there. So, oh my gosh, you guys have made my holidays. Thank you so much for spending it with me. Can you believe it's already been an hour? I want to thank you too, Baz, for the beautiful image. And yeah, my gosh, if I missed you guys, please, call me out, because I just want to thank all of you guys for hanging out with me. AD couldn't make it. He's not feeling good, but it's definitely, boo, Dave. That's awesome. That's so cool. It is so, whoa, when I get too close to the light, it's like, bam. But yeah, so happy holidays, you guys. So it is the end of the show. I'm bummed. Someone gave me a thumbs down. What the heck? What's up with that? Hater. So if you guys like the show, give me a thumbs up, because that hater gave me a thumbs down already. I haven't even it's not even over. Barry says he agrees on HDR can improve the photo, but achieving my landscape photos, I would look at my f-stop and or the distance of focusing into the landscape. You know what? I've also, Baz, have done, with my landscape, have actually merged images together. So say I want a foreground rock to be in focus and I just don't have that depth. I will take a photograph of that, and then, then I say I want the tree over there to be, then I'll have merged them together because a lot of times I'm using a 70 to 200. I don't even use a wide angle because I want things compressed a little bit, but it is what it is. And I just like testing and playing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but it's so fun to see I like what you're saying, how you're talking about what you like. It's so good. And that's what I like about our membership. We do so many different things. I learn from the members just as much as they're learning from me. It's so fun to be with you guys and be creative. And I do want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. But the last show of 2019, it's been a great time. I'm very, very happy. Thanks for showing up, you guys. So just remember that December 26th, we're going to cancel because Janice has the big, huge party, and I'll be too tired. But mark your calendars, okay? Because you guys are going to love Charles Needle. He is an amazing person. He'll be here January 9th. He's going to start our 2020 with an amazing creativity. And then we will have the shows with me every other week, and then a guest every other week. And before Good night. Good night, all. Yes, back to us. Thank you so much, Dave. And thank you, everyone, actually. Baz, all of you guys. I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. I just want to say, have a great time. And if you have any questions, just ask down below. And always, always remember that your 1,000 words does make a difference. Cheers, everyone. Cheers.